Let's learn Quacks Co. Quacks Co. was created by Wolfgang Warsch. It was illustrated by Michael Mullen and published by Schmid Spiel. The game plays in about 25 minutes. It is designed for 2 to 4 players, and it was designed with children in mind. The box says that it is for ages 5 and up. So this is a great game to play with your kids, but it's also something you can enjoy on your own. If you've played Quacks of Quidlinberg, this game might be something you're interested in, especially if you've got kids. The idea behind the game is you are in the town of Quidlinberg in Germany, and you are racing your animals. They're motivated by food, so the more food you feed your animals, the faster they're going to go. First person that races to the end and gets the golden cauldron will be the winner. Up front we see Quacks here, he's the donkey, and there are a few other animals you can choose to play with. To set up Quacks Co., first you're going to take out the game board and you're going to decide which side you want to play on. The board has 2 sides that are very similar. The only difference is how long the track is. You'll notice at the bottom there's a little house. If you've got the red roof showing, you've got the shorter track. The blue roof has the longer track. So your gameplay might be a little bit longer if you're going on blue side. It is recommended to play red side up for your first game. Next, each player can choose an animal. We've got a sheep, a pig, a donkey, and a cow. Each player will take the corresponding player board, animal token, and the bag of the corresponding color. Next, you're going to pick what tiles you're going to play with. This will determine what kinds of actions you get to take as you play. There are 2 sides to each tile. Up in the corner you'll see a little caterpillar or a butterfly. The caterpillar is the beginner side and the butterfly is the more advanced side. It's recommended to play with the 4 caterpillar sides as you play your first game. And there are 2 advanced caterpillars, which are the orange and the purple tiles. It is recommended to leave those ones out for your very first game and to bring them in on subsequent games. Lay these tiles down. We'll put a white die on the yellow tile. Next, you're going to make sure that each player puts into their bag the correct number and type of tokens to start with. Each player will have 4 Dreamweed tokens, a 1 value corn, 2 1 value apples, and 1 2 value apple. These all simply go into each player's bag. Next, the golden cauldron goes up at the end of the track. The last thing to note is the bottom of the box itself houses all of the chips that you'll be playing with in your game. And you'll see the box indicates what it costs to purchase more of them. Lastly, each player will put their token at the beginning of the board to start the race. The first player for this game is the last person to see a donkey. Before we get into gameplay, I'd like to talk about the different tokens that exist so that you're aware of them. There are 4 kinds of food that are general tokens. We've got apples, we've got blueberries, we have corn, and we have lettuce. There are some advanced tokens. We have carrots, plums, sugar beets. We have our Dreamweed token. We have rubies and 4-leaf clovers. I'll discuss how each of these work as we go along. To begin, each player on their turn will pull a token from their bag without looking. One of the rules of the game is you can never look into your bag at any time to see what's inside. Give it a good shake and pull a single token out. This is a Dreamweed token. When you pull a Dreamweed token, this is going to go onto a cloud space on your animal. This indicates that your animal is distracted. It ate the Dreamweed and it is now daydreaming. You don't move your animal any spaces forward, and you simply place the token onto the bubble. On a subsequent turn, if you pull a food token, you'll simply place that food token onto the animal board, noting to not place it on a cloud bubble, a four-leaf clover space, or where the rubies belong. What you'll next do is you'll move the animal forward the number that the token shows. Possible values include 1, 2, 4, 5, and 8. So in this case, I drew a 1 value corn. I will move my animal 1 space forward, and next I'll look at the tile to see what the corn action does for me. The corn in this case allows me to roll a die. Based on what I roll, I receive something or I take an action. In this case, I roll a ruby. I simply place the ruby on my board for later use. Rubies, again, are going to be what you use to purchase new tokens. Other faces of the die include a 2 lettuce, which allows you to pull a 2 and place it directly into your bag. You also have move 1 space forward. You have a 2 apple, which allows you to put a 2 apple into your bag. You have move 3 spaces forward. And lastly, take another turn. Pull another token out from your bag. Those are the possibilities that you can roll when you take the corn action. Other actions, let's start over here with the apple next. When you pull an apple out of the bag, simply take a single ruby. If you're on a space with a spiral, take 2 rubies instead. Lettuce allows you to put 1 token from your animal board back into your bag to use it again. You cannot put dreamweed tokens into your bag this way, but any food that is on your board. And the last one is the blueberries. The blueberry action in this variant simply tells you to move to the next most spiral space. In this case, I would move here. Now, let's talk about dreamweed tokens a little bit more. As you continue to play and get more tokens out, eventually you're going to run into the case where you place your 3rd dreamweed token and cover your last cloud bubble. When this occurs, it is now time for you to purchase more food. So vendors from the market sitting next to the races are offering to sell you food. Depending on how many rubies you have, you can purchase different kinds of food. So let's suppose in my case that I have 4 rubies. This indicates that I can purchase anything from a value 1 up to a value 4. However, this variant is not including the plums or the carrots, so I couldn't purchase those. And if I had 1 more ruby, a 5th, I could purchase a sugar beet, which allows me again to move 8 spaces. The sugar beet has no action associated with it. You simply get to move 8 spaces. You'll see that the value 1 chips, the value 2, and the value 4 each have tokens of every food, every type. So in my case, let's suppose that I would like to buy 2 value 2 chips. I would spend all 4 rubies, and I would take any 2. But the rule is, when you purchase chips, if you get more than 1, they must be of different types. So I'll take a 2 blueberry and I'll take a 2 lettuce. They go directly into your bag, along with every other token that is on your board, including the dreamweed. Every token goes back into your bag, and you're ready to begin playing again. Note that there are additional rules around buying food. When purchasing food, in addition to the rule that they must be different types if you buy more than 1, you must spend all your rubies. Now, if you don't want to spend all your rubies, I had 4. Let's suppose that I spent 3. I still have to give up my 4th. So when you buy food, all rubies go back into the box. The last rule, and this is a benefit, if you're in last place or tied for last place when you get your 3rd dreamweed, this allows you to pull an extra ruby out of the box before you make your purchases. And so the game continues with players pulling pieces from their bags until at which point one player makes it to the Golden Cauldron and is declared winner of the race. Now let's talk about some of the other variants that the tiles bring to the game. We have the plum and the carrot on the caterpillar side. Should you choose to use them in subsequent games, you would simply replace one or both of them with one or two other tiles. Let's suppose I pull the blueberries out and replace them with the plums. Pull the lettuce out and replace that with the carrots. You'll always play with 4 different ingredients. So, the carrot and the plum. Let's talk about those. How the carrot works is, when you pull a carrot out of your bag, you simply take a 4-leaf clover and put it on the indicated space on your player board. If you're on a spiral space, rather than pulling 1, you'll pull 2 and put them and stack them on the same space. The benefit of the 4-leaf clovers is that when you place your last Dreamweed token on the board, before you make your purchases, you get to move your animal as many spaces as clovers you have. In this case, I would move 3 spaces and then make my purchase. Here, the plum, when I pull a plum out of the bag, the icon indicates what you do is you count the number of rubies that you have on your animal board, in this case 3, and you move that many spaces forward. Please note that if you choose to use the carrot and the plum in a single game, it will make the game potentially last longer, because the only values that a carrot and a plum have are 5. There are no 1s, 2s, or 4s, only 5s. And those cost 4 rubies to purchase. Let's look at some of the other variants, the butterfly side of the tiles. Again, it is recommended to start without the carrot and without the plum once you switch to the butterfly side. So let's look at these. When you pull an apple out of your bag, if it is a value 1, you get to collect a ruby. If it's a value 2, collect 2. If it's a value 4, collect 3 rubies. When you pull blueberries out of the bag, if it is a value 1, you put the value 1 chip back into the box and pull out a value 2 and put that on your player board. If you pull a 2 out of your bag, you put the 2 into the box and pull the 4 out of the box, place it on your player board. And if you pull a 4 out of your bag, it goes into the box and you pull out a sugar beet value 8 and put it onto your board. When playing with the butterfly side of the corn, note that you will use a different die. When you pull a corn out of the bag, you will simply roll the die and move the number of spaces indicated. You can move anywhere from 0 up through 4 spaces when the die is rolled. Note that if you are on a spiral space, you get to roll the die twice. On the butterfly side of the lettuce tile, you get to simply take another turn, pull another chip from your bag. When you pull a plum with the butterfly side, you get to simply pull a value 2 chip from the box and put it directly into your bag. If you're on a spiral space, you can instead pull a value 4 out of the box and put it directly into your bag. When you pull a carrot out of the bag, you'll move your spaces and then collect 1 clover for every carrot that is currently on your animal board. In this case, just 1. But if I pulled the second carrot, I'd put 2 more on. The same rule applies with the clovers. When you put your third Dreamweed token out, you move the number of clovers that you have on your board. There you have it. That is all the variants you can play with in Quacks Co. Now, if you'd like to see a few turns played to kind of get a feel for the game, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll end the video. Please note that I am playing solo, which is technically made for 2 to 4 players. So on my first turn, looks like I pull the Dreamweed. I do nothing. Second turn, another Dreamweed. I do nothing. Next turn, I pull a 1 apple, so I move 1 space forward, and I collect a ruby. Next, a single corn. Move 1 space, roll the die. I got another ruby. Excellent. Next turn, Ooh, another apple, another ruby. Got 3 rubies for my first purchase. That's great. Alright, there's my third dream weed. What we're going to do now, we're going to put all these chips back in the bag and make a purchase. I have 3 rubies to purchase with. I'm trying to think what I want to do here. I think I'm going to get a 2 blueberry with a 1 lettuce. Spend all 3 of my rubies to do so, and continue along. Shake up my bag, and start pulling them out again. I've got a 2 blueberry, excellent, 2 spaces, and then move to the next spiral. Wonderful. 1 apple, there's a ruby. 1 apple again, another ruby. 1 corn. Oops, green weed fell out of the bag, there we go. Ooh, a 2 apple. Put it in the bag, shake it up. Green weed. 2 apple, there it is. Pull a ruby. Hoping to find my lettuce. Dreamweed. Dreamweed. I didn't find my lettuce. I was hopeful to put a 2 back into the bag, but that's okay. I have 3 more rubies to make a purchase with. I want to purchase a 4. I'm going to get a 4 blueberry. Everything goes back into the bag. And that 4 blueberry cost me 3 rubies, so I will put those back into the box. And I begin again. 1 corn. Move 1 space again. And let's suppose that this was my lettuce. We haven't had a lettuce turn. I was trying to get a lettuce turn. If that were the case, I would simply be able to put this back into my bag. It's the only food I have on the table, but I'll be able to put it back in the bag for later use. So there are several example turns of Quacks Co. Thanks for joining me in Quacks Co. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed learning the game. If you got value out of this, please give me a like. And if you'd like to see more content from me, subscribe to see what I put out. What do you think of the game? Let me know in the comments. Thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one.